Shallots are for babies. Onions are for men. Garlic is for heroes. Unknown. Hello, I'm Tamara Michelle, and welcome to Real Conversations podcast, created in Dauphin, Manitoba, Canada. Today we have special guests, the Schroeder family and Lila of the RM of Lakeshore, and we dig in to harvest garlic at their local garlic farm right here at home. Thank you to our show sponsors. Bankert Marketing, Dr. Brenna and Three Graces Medi-Spa, Real Security Solutions, Right Side Equipment of Dauphin, Oil Depot of Dauphin, Roofs, Furniture and Appliances of Dauphin, Tri-Family Health, Beauty and Fine Gifts of the Paw, Ramsey's Health and Fitness of Dauphin, Cloud9 Canna Supplies, Fudd's Corner Store, and Hearts to Nature Fine Art Nature Photography.
Say it and then run because you don't know what's going to happen after. Right, with other people around you safe until they're gone.
So I'm here today here on Real Conversations podcast with the Schroeders. And of course, Lila, a neighbor and business partner from the RM of Lakeshore. So just outside of the Dauphin area, if you're familiar with that, part of the parkland, and abundant garlic farmers here. I know you said this is not the average year, but before we get started, just so we can introduce everyone, all of your names. Is that okay? So go ahead.
Okay, I'm John Schroeder.
Okay.
I'm Nikki. I'm Kyla. I'm Cheyenne.
Twyla. Lila.
And of course, I'm Tamara Michelle. So today we kind of had a lot of fun. It's like the sun is already set by the looks of it. We're kind of like moving into dusk. Came out this evening, was invited to do some garlic, I guess it's garlic harvest is what you would call it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, holy man, I've learned a lot. I pulled my shoes off. I was running around barefoot in the farm field. It was like soft and fluffy. We saw frogs. I found a mouse. There's a mouse. Yeah, he kind of scurried away. Yes, he was a big fat mouse.
Didn't hear any screaming.
No, well, because I live like in the RM of Dauphin. So for me, like, yeah, my cats are always
Bringing home treats.
Yeah. I always see the massacre in the morning. Yeah, so it's the joys. Yeah. But you were saying this year that this is, well, every year is a surprise, right? When it comes to farming anything. How long have you guys been in the business, so to speak? Anyone can answer.
Like in the business of farming?
Of garlic farming.
Just garlic.
I was like farming my whole life.
So garlic, this is our 4th harvest.
Okay.
Yeah, so this fall will be our 5th year of planting.
Okay. And so garlic is planted in the fall.
That's correct, yes. This variety.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what varieties does your family and business partner plant?
Well, this is the hardneck variety. And the various varieties within that is...
Well, we have music, red Russian, and porcelain.
Okay. And I was noticing, because you were showing me a little bit, the porcelain is white, almost like an iridescent, like a white onion, like kind of like almost pearlized looking, or at least I guess it's not completely dry. And then you said the music and the red Russian
will look very similar to each other, so we label them very carefully. Otherwise, once they're dry, they will have that red look to them.
Okay, and what's the difference?
More of purple. But
well, they have a purple stripe family.
Yeah, but I don't want to try to I'll get them mixed up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
we always mark them.
Okay, and what is the difference between those two red varieties specifically?
The red Russian would be really hot.
Oh,
and
spicy almost.
Yeah, like really knock your socks off.
Like almost like horseradishy garlic?
Yes.
Is that a good way to describe it? Okay.
It's one of the hottest garlics.
The red Russian?
For us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When the music would be a sweeter variety and milder.
Interesting.
Not as much kick.
We've dried some for ourselves.
Yeah.
And made a powder out of it and put our garlic toast in that.
Oh.
And the red Russian, boy, you just hardly anything on there.
And you're dying.
The music is a much sweeter flavor.
It's a milder.
And then what about the porcelain as far as flavor goes?
The porcelain is crisper. That's what I
like a firmer garlic, harder garlic.
More of not a harder garlic, not as crisp as in biting the apple, but crisper is in it's supposed to be fresher. Like it's more of a it's milder.
Okay,
refreshing.
Yeah.
And out of the 3 types of garlic that you have all grown, which one lasts the longest? Because like we're all like we're in the farming community. We want something that's going to last in our pantry really long, right?
Yeah.
So,
for the most part, I think it's the red Russian lasts the longest.
Okay.
Mostly because that's the one we sell the most of. That's the one we grow the most of.
Okay.
But it's also, we just had a niece that was here this last weekend, and she said, well, I just used my last clove.
Oh, okay.
So that's over a year that she's had it. And that's pretty good.
For sure. Excuse me.
And there's smaller cloves in the red Russian that we have.
Okay.
So that makes a difference. If they're dried down properly, the smaller clove will last longer than a larger. The porcelain has a bigger clove to it, usually.
Mm-hmm. And the skin's not as tight.
Yeah.
So it dries.
We have a little kitten making a ruckus over there.
He's got to investigate.
So then this would be my next question. When I think about, especially when I think about like the world markets, and I think about how do I explain it? Like, what is the benefits for people that live in the area? I mean, we live in this food belt. It's just this mecca of food production. And, we were talking about, like, I get eggs, from somebody that I know locally. And we can get garlic, we can get beef, we can get chickens.
Yes.
There's so many things that we have access to here in the parkland, in Manitoba. I'm sure that it's like that also in Alberta and Saskatchewan, because we're known in the center of Canada as being food producers. And I guess PEI is really known for potatoes, but and apples, because they have really good apples in that for sure. I think about that, and I think about how fortunate we are. What is the benefit? So people go to the grocery store and they buy garlic from China or garlic from Chile. If you look at where your garlic comes from, I mean, it is being imported from so far away, and it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So what is the benefit of people buying local garlic and supporting local farmers, do you think?
Well, the only thing I can say is, Kyla brought home a Chinese friend from school. Yep. And her dad, when he found out that she was harvesting garlic from he said, don't buy any of the Chinese stuff. It's too much pesticides, herbicides. Yeah. And it's like a sponge, and it sponges absorbing up all that, the herbicides and pesticides. And our garlic, we know for a fact that we haven't put any herbicides on or pesticides on it. So you saw our weeds. And
like you said, this year was such a different year for weeding because of the moisture. Yeah, you weren't able to to get into that. And yet the production didn't harm the production at all. Like they look quite healthy.
Whatever survived the moisture looked very healthy.
Okay.
The moisture kicked it more than the weeds did.
So talk about that a little bit. How did that affect? This is not a good year for you guys as far as a garlic harvest in what you lost, because you planted in the fall, not knowing the wet season we were going to have. And I noticed, I'd seen Farmer John had some of that. It's like a green mildew on top, and I didn't see a lot of it, but I even saw it out in your field where the garlic has grown and done well. But it's sitting on top.
Well, when you get a high moisture year, you're going to get a lot of the salts that are in the soil come up to the top. And that's going to create an alkali area.
Oh, okay.
So that's really prevalent in high moisture situations. Last year, being so dry, we were able to, manipulate our crop slightly because we watered it.
Okay.
We have a large tank that we dribble water over it. And pretty much every pass, we figure it's about a 1/4 inch of rain. So we did that 4 times last year. And that it yielded so nice. You were able to basically create more. This year,
because it fills the bulbs, right, with moisture, exactly. And then you get more product.
Yeah. Because then you end up with between 8 and 10 bulbs to make a pound.
Okay.
Whereas this year is going to be possibly 14 to 16 bulbs per pound.
Okay.
So it's still per pound.
Yeah.
But somebody who looks at a small head like this here, they're going to think, oh my goodness, all the peeling just to get down to that little clove.
Right. But then again, like we said earlier, the benefits of buying local garlic. So yes. I know we always want to buy convenience, but having that and the flavor, right? Because you can't beat that when it comes to cooking or flavor or fresh garlic. I mean, I have such fond memories of my Guido, and he would just be like peeling the garlic and like eating it raw. I'd be like, "Here, Doña, eat some garlic. It's gonna put some chest or hair on your chest." And I was like, "No, Guido, I don't want hair on my chest." So I just always get such a kick out of that. And garlic is such a big part of, I think. There's lots of Ukrainians in the area, but I think there isn't really any culture that doesn't cook without garlic. It's such an important staple in flavoring our food, right?
Oh, for sure.
An interesting stat I read somewhere that Koreans are the ones that eat the most garlic. Huh. On average, the average Korean will eat 80 pounds.
That's what
garlic in a lifetime.
No,
a year.
What?
Yeah.
How does
That's a lot.
Isn't that something? That's
wow.
Now put it that way. My brother and sister-in-law say that they will eat over 30 pounds between the two of them.
Okay.
Because they put garlic in pretty much everything.
Okay.
From canning to now 1 or 2 pounds will do me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I think our family, we made it through because I bought 2 pounds from you guys last year, and I think some of it, kind of dried up at the end because it was already getting into spring. But we used probably, I would say, like 1.5 pounds. We did have and I was still using, like you said, the same thing right to the very end. There were some cloves that were really firm, and then the ones you just squish, you're like, oh, these ones are done. You can they're kind of light. They kind of just like dehydrated to like nothing. I'm sure there's still lots of flavor in there, like if you wanted to use it.
Possibly, yeah.
So.
See, that last year we had some of that because we had so much last year that we didn't space it out as well as what we probably should have in the drying process.
Okay.
And some of it, I know we had one person say that some of it molded.
Oh no, I didn't have any, but I also kept mine in a paper bag. It was just sitting in a paper bag, the same paper bag that I got it in, and I have it's like a little platter where we put our fruit, and I put the ginger, and I put, sometimes there's like a little bit of bread. It's like a huge platter, and I always have I think we have peanut butter and honey. Like we have this weird, it's like the immediate stuff right on our and that's where the bag of garlic is, right by the stove. So when I needed it, it was always there. I had a garlic container, like a pottery one, but it was I was always emptying it, so I just started using the paper bag. And I think probably the paper bag because it's porous and dry, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
The humidity out. So the one last question that I have is, so your family and of course your business partner, you've been doing this for, you said, 4 or 5 years, and together. That was the thing that I really noticed coming out with you all today. I know you're missing one of your family members, Amber.
Yes.
She's not here. She had to go work this evening, and she regretted not being able to be here. But I really have to say this, it's one of the things that I really love about the show is that I'm able to showcase where we live, how the beauty of where we live, the beauty of being in the mecca of the food production world, showcasing all sorts of entrepreneurs. And I think farmers are just incredible because of all like you were saying earlier, you take your money, you buy seed, then you shove it in the ground and you wait. And you really don't know, right? It's such and you do well over time, but you will have these really difficult years where, you might break even or you might be at a loss. And this happens to farmers quite often, right? And then they'll have those bumper crop years, or they'll have the years where they're like, they think it's gonna be so terrible, and then as soon as the terrible is over, it's like perfect weather. Yeah. And you have this long fall, perfect season, and so
there's just something about being able to see the product of your work and then seeing it through. And as the seasons change, and when it comes to wintertime, feeling like, all right, we did the best we could with what we had, and we're satisfied because we did everything we could.
Well, and you do everything as a family and as a group, right? Like you said, it's a lot funner with a group than it is with 2 of you, right? And what is the least favorite part of garlic farming?
Weeding. Hurts the hands.
We're still working on something for that.
Well, and you had that really cool machinery that you have. You said where you dig under and you kind of lift everything. What is that called on the back of your?
Just an undercutter.
An undercutter. Okay. So so I kind of took a picture of that. It'll be up on the reel here. But
we used a potato digger a couple of times, but we found that it damaged the cloves.
It beat it up too much.
So this is nice because it's just kind of like a bar that goes under and then scrapes just underneath, just to kind of lift, right, the dirt.
Kind of break the roots away from the dirt, so then it's easier to pull.
Almost like if you have a shovel and digging it up,
or a fork to pull it, loosen it. This was much easier.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's not so bad. So thank you so much for having me out here to do this. I would love to come back and see actually the planting part of this.
We would love your help too.
You could do some. Yes, absolutely. I'm in. Well, I stayed the whole. I wasn't even here for the full part of it. We only worked, I think, for 36 minutes, is what I noticed. But you guys were pulling up garlic and had the whole thing full, and that was about 3 hours of work. You said,
yes.
And that's after. And I'm going to say this because y'all work, right? Like this is not. This is again. It's so amazing because I meet so many farmers that it's a labor of love. And they work all day so that they can come home to farm. Like it's a really fascinating part of kind of where we live. I noticed that a lot of people do that. So.
Well, we went to a seminar in Kelowna about garlic one year, and we were talking with someone there, and they looked at us and said, "You got the fever, don't you?" And there's something about it. You put it in, and it's okay. Right on, we got cloves this big, or heads this big this time. Let's go for bigger next year, and trying to make it better. And that's something we always like to do with any aspect of farming. Is you want to get better,
more fit to learn, right?
Yeah.
Different things, diseases,
and you're
types
always
of
learning.
garlic. Yeah.
Always learning.
And I have to say, it smells amazing in here. Like it really does. And it's like it's not like the garlic of like walking behind somebody that ate garlic for days. It's a fresh, it's such a refreshing smell, like an odor, and it's not really overpowering. It's just kind of like it tantalizes the.
Unless you crack one open.
Could be that there, right?
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for having me out again, and we're going to continue with this, I guess, later in the fall.
Sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
Dr. Brenna and Three Graces Medi-Spa has been inspiring love, confidence, and health and humanity since 2019. Dr. Brenna's skin therapists have the advanced knowledge required to revitalize and rejuvenate your skin. Radiofrequency, microneedles, chemical peels, and Oxygen Neo Superfacials are just a couple of the treatments we offer. To learn more about Dr. Brenna and Three Graces Medi-Spa, visit our website at threegraces.ca or call us at 204-572-5774 for a free consultation. Thank you to our show sponsors, Bankert Marketing, Dr. Brenna and Three Graces Medi-Spa, Real Security Solutions, Right Side Equipment of Dauphin, Oil Depot of Dauphin, Roofs, Furniture and Appliances of Dauphin, Tri-Family Health, Beauty and Fine Gifts of the Paw, Ramsey's Health and Fitness of Dauphin, Cloud9 Canna Supplies, Fudd's Corner Store, and Hearts to Nature Fine Art Nature Photography.